All right, welcome in, everyone. Filling in for Trace Fowler, who's at T-ball. Just got a text from Trace. His team is down 16-3 in the third inning. The Reds, on the other hand, up 2-0 against the San Diego Padres. Alexis Diaz in. Diaz trying to slam the door shut. How many blown saves in his last 5 opportunities, Kirby? And welcome.
I don't want to know. I have no interest in talking about anything like that at this point. As he has a leadoff walk.
Oh, God. 4 pitches, not even close. The last one almost hit the UDF sign.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Well, I was trying to get on Twitter, but I don't think Chuck Streams is doing it. So we'll abandon Twitter. Sorry, Twitter. You're out tonight. You try it tomorrow. All right. You got to have a short hook here, right? Quick hook.
I would hope. I mean, David Bell's already broke his chair. He's not sitting down. So he's right by that phone. Oh, and we got Manny Machado up to the plate. 1 for 3 with a single and an RBI. Diaz checks over at first in the pitch. And there's strike 1. This is awfully...
Oh, what?
What happened?
I think I'm going to pause myself. Watch this pitch.
That was a nice pitch.
That was a strike. This umpire has been all over the place. I have no idea what a strike is and what isn't tonight. He's called the exact
one from Abbott that was like 7 feet outside that they called a strike. I was like, okay, we'll take it.
That's a strike. Okay.
Got him. Got Machado looking one away.
Woo. Need likes, folks. We need likes.
Here's Jay Cronenworth.
I gotta hide the chat.
By the way, this is how I'm watching the game today, Kirby. Tell me if you could see this on the screen.
Nice.
Yeah, I dropped my phone a couple weeks back, and I've been dealing with the lightsaber.
That's a win!
4, 6, 3.
That's a win, Chuck!
Yes, sirree! Woo-hoo-hoo! First one in Chatterbox Reds history, a W with me on the set. Want to do a show?
Let's do a show.
By the way,
do a show.
I was peeling this thing off as we got it ready. I was peeling it off and wasn't going to show the crowd because didn't want to jinx them. But what's up, everyone? Kirby and Chuck with you. Chatterbox Reds starts right about now.
Bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. That goes Clemente. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He scored. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded. The outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on. Long drive. Right field. And this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down for the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field.
pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the line, Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Line to the right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Does it have a chance? The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream to get into the career of Jay Bruce.
How do you do, everybody? Welcome into Chatterbox Reds, the post-game show edition. I think they only do a post-game show. We've made it. First time in history, Kirby. I was 0-2 coming in. I had to deal with a lot of Bearcats losses, cross-promotion on Chatterbox Bearcats this season. Devastating losses. I was 0-2 with the Reds. I think they lost by a combined 17 runs. Tonight, watch this hit me in the face. We celebrate, baby. We celebrate. Popping champagne as the Reds pull within, 9 games of 500? Who gives a damn, Kirby? Who gives a damn? Reds winners tonight. Andrew Abbott puts on a masterclass. All around, good stuff. Look, Kirby, when your offense sucks, just shut the opposition out. Like Happy Gilmore said after his hole-in-one at the Waterbury Open. That was a lot easier than putting. That was a lot easier than going out there and having to score some runs. It only took 2, Nick. Welcome to the show. Good to see you.
What a big-time start from Andrew Abbott tonight, who just owns the Padres. Owns the Padres. Name the city after Andrew Abbott. 14 2/3 innings in his career against the Padres. 1 run.
1 run. 14 2/3, 1 run. That's a hell of an ERA. The guy has a hell of an ERA right now. Oh, sorry, the bubbles, baby. Got me. 2.68 ERA on the season for Andrew Abbott after he goes 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk on 92 pitches. Efficiency. Just give me the box score recap so we can get right into this show.
Yeah, real quick, just can you turn the volume down on your on the game?
I'm listening to the post-game show, Kirby. You got an issue with that?
Well,
Anything
come
breaks.
through my you want to ruin my podcast for tomorrow?
All right,
there we go. All right, yes, we got a box score recap, a winning box score recap, and it's a good thing. It didn't get off to a good start. Bottom of the first, Jake Fraley got hit in the right hand with a pitch from Joe Musgrove. He stayed in the game and ran the bases. Reds would end up stranding the bases loaded. After the inning, Fraley had to leave the game. David Bell, a few moments later, was seen in the dugout slamming a chair as the frustration from just a brutal season full of injuries continued. But the Reds responded in the bottom of the second. Jonathan India had a leadoff walk. Benson singled with 1 out, and then Jonathan India scored on a very aggressive send when Padres catcher Luis Campanzo could not hang on to the ball. He did step on Jonathan India's ankle, but India was able to shake it off, and the Reds took a 1-0 lead. The next batter, Ellie De La Cruz, had a hustle double on a ball that bounced off first baseman Jake Cronenworth. 2-0 Reds. Reds were able to chase Joe Musgrove after just 3 innings as he had to throw 66 pitches in his first start back off the IL. And those 2 runs were more than enough for Andrew Abbott and company. Abbott went 7 innings, just 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Abbott, 1 run allowed in his career in 14 2/3 against the Padres. Fernando Cruz looked like Fernando Cruz in the 8th. Alexis Diaz in the 9th. He did walk the first batter on 4 pitches, but he bounced back, struck out Manny Machado, and then got a double play to end it. Reds in their 7-game home losing streak, and they get win number 20 on the season. We didn't have any deep drives from the Reds big league club. Who cares, though? They won. We did have a massive big fly down in Louisville. Peyton Burdick just a little bit ago hit a 500-foot home run, 114.8 off the bat. So that is a legit big fly. And our deep drive of the day, sponsored as always by Deep South Commodities. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production. They specialize in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. Thanks as always to our friends at DSC.
And I misspoke, Kirby. The celebratory champagne tonight is because the Reds have pulled within 8 games of 500. They're 20-28. Padres dropped to 25-26. We saw it all today, man. Actually, we didn't see much of anything. It was a lightning quick game. 2 combined runs. So if you had the over of 9.5, congratulations, you're an idiot. We saw David Bell firing a chair, kicking a chair like he was vintage Bob Knight. He was pissed off. As you mentioned, 2 injuries in the game. Reds have the worst injury luck of all time. Fraley goes out with the right hand injury, and then India was hurt in the game, but he stayed in there. All appears to be well. But no bitching tonight from the chat room. I'm sure someone in there right now is saying fire David Bell, but let's enjoy this one, man. It's been a while. And let's start it off with Andrew Abbott, who was splendid, man. Rock solid. Has given up less than 3 runs in 9 of his 10 starts this season. The worst start that Abbott's had the entire year was 5 1/3, where he gave up 4 runs. I mean, that's not a bad start whatsoever. That is a blemish on an otherwise unbelievable resume. The ERA sits at 2.68. Is Andrew Abbott worthy of racking up some all-star votes right now? I mean, 9 of his 10, under 2 runs. Strikeout number's not sexy, but he's not walking a lot of batters. He's getting in front of the count. And tell me, give me one reason why Andrew Abbott should not be an all-star.
You know what, Chuck? I hadn't thought of it. But, I mean, his numbers are deserving. Really, him and Hunter Green. I mean, if the Reds' offense had been playing better, I think those guys would be getting a lot more love. It's unfortunate for both of those guys that, they've kind of been shadowed because of how much the offensive struggle. Both those guys have just pitched outstanding. Abbott, didn't get a lot of strikeouts, but he also, I mean, this is a very dangerous Padres lineup, and he kept the ball in the ballpark, had a lot of weak contact. They didn't have a whole lot of balls that were squared up off him. I thought he was working all of his pitches, especially his changeup. I thought was really nasty tonight. But yeah, Abbott, he's having an incredible season. He feels almost like he's getting better and better every start he takes the ball.
All right, let's get into some super chats. Big Z gives us a big 5-piece. Thank you, Big Z. I will be asking Trace for $2.50 of that. Kirby can have actually, I guess we go $2.49 a piece, and then 2 cents goes to the Chatterbox brand. But Big Z says, not to be negative, but this offense still blows. Pitching is the only thing keeping this team in games. I agree, man. It's a rarity, I guess you could say, after growing up in the 90s and watching, 2000s Reds baseball when you had a starting staff. Your 1, 2, 3 for many years was like Jimmy Haynes, Paul Wilson, and Eric Milton. To now have Andrew Abbott as your potential number 3 guy, or, maybe 4 if Rhett Lauder slides into that position someday in the near future. They got a really good front end of the rotation. And Ashcraft, I think I like Graham Ashcraft a little more than some of Reds faithful does right now. But, man, The pitching is not the issue whatsoever. But once again, 2 runs for the Reds in the game today. They loaded up the bases with 1 out in the first. Ford grounded out after Stevenson struck out. Candyman struck out as well that inning. The strikeouts are driving me crazy, and just the inability to get runs across the plate. But, hey, man, 2's all you need when you don't give up any to the opposition. Andrew Abbott, though, let's get some more on it. The young, solid core to build around. I know Andrew Abbott is not ever going to be a, Corbin Burns, strikeout 13, Zach Wheeler, strikeout 13, one of those types of pitchers. But what is this guy's ceiling? Because he's still, you're Poindexter. You got the age on me. What's he, 24 years old or something?
I know he's the exact same age as Hunter Green. Hunter Green's actually like 2 months younger. So yeah, they're both 24. But yeah, and he's also him and Hunter Green, which is kind of funny that Hunter Green's now been in this conversation because of how he's pitched of late. They've been the 2 starters that have really given David Bell some length. Most of the other starters have not really been able to go deep in games, especially Graham Ashcraft of late. So, look, Abbott, you're going into a week where you got 3 against the Padres, 3 against the Dodgers. There's no off days the rest of the week. So, throwing 7 innings in the first game of this homestand, I feel like it's a big deal. You had a lot of guys now that have had 2 days off with that extra day on Monday. Some guys have had now 3 days off in a row. And at this point in the season, that's really big. I do think that sometimes we undervalue, just how big that can be this early in the year.
More super chats. Ned Flanders gives us $4.99. He says, if Fraley goes out for a while, who's getting called up, Nick?
They might just have Connor Capel turn right around and head right back up.
Head on up.
Up by 71. The X-rays were negative on Fraley, so they're going to reevaluate him tomorrow. But so there was a lot of swelling. You always look at guys that are on the 40-man roster. So I think Peyton Burdick, that guy that did a home run, he's actually been really bad at Louisville outside of that 500-foot home run today. He'd be an option. Reese Hines has had a pretty bad year, but he is a right-handed bat with power. That's always an option. Bubba Thompson, who's down at Double-A, he still is on the 40-man roster. Then Levon Soto, an infielder. I don't think they would go that route, but those would be the guys that you always give a massive leg up to anyone that's on the 40-man roster.
Why not go out there and bring back Yasiel Puig? He's available. Where's he playing right now? Japan or something?
I'm not sure he's eligible to come back to Major League Baseball.
$10 from Big Red.
Restricted list.
Yeah, $10 from Big Red Machine. A lot of fun though. I mean that season where the Reds were just suns out, guns out. Him, Dietrich, and Lorenzen bombing home runs. That was one of the funnest seasons ever for a team that absolutely sucked.
And then when he got traded and was in the middle of a fight on the field, that was one of the most surreal sports moments I've ever watched. This dude got traded to Cleveland. He's out fighting on the field.
He's out fighting for his guys, and he brought back a Cy Young. People forget that brought back the only Red Cy Young winner probably this millennium. Big Red Machine, $10. I don't know what Stevenson said to Diaz, but it sure worked. Thank you. He said, throw the ball over the plate, Mel. That's what he said. We're getting super chats all over the place right now. One more from Ricky. He says, like the stream, LFG Reds. Like the stream. The patient Reds in this one. Cincinnati knocks out Joe Musgrave after what? 4 innings. Musgrave. 3 innings. 3. It takes Musgrave 55 pitches to get through 2. Cincinnati sat back there. They worked the count. They were the antithesis, I like that word, of what Andrew Abbott was doing today. I think Andrew Abbott's first 6 batters he got in front of the count, walked 1 batter in the game. Not good on the other side for the Padres. Joe Musgrove was everywhere, and he's not having a great season right now.
Yeah, and look, obviously you want to score more than 2 runs, but what they did early in the game, getting Musgrove out of the game, a guy that was coming off the IL, you knew he wasn't going to be able to go deep into the game. And for you to get him out after 3 innings is big, and it's big for this whole series. The Padres had to throw 5 different relievers to get through this game. This is a Padres team that just played a doubleheader on Monday Atlanta, I think they had to use a total of 7 pitchers between the 2 games. So, yeah, I mean, that's big just to, hopefully, have them have some guys that are unavailable. They have to go deeper into their bullpen and hopefully some other close games. There's still definitely some concerns in this lineup. Like Mike Ford has just been really bad. I do think he's had some poor luck on top of it. He has had some hard hit balls. Not tonight. He has had some hard hit balls in some of the recent games that just didn't go for hits. But man, he's batting 146 OPS of 413. We have it on the back end of the show, but I think that's why part of the reason Nick Martini got the call is just to give you another option for a guy that's just really, really struggling right now that you were hoping could be a spark plug for this offense.
David Bell's a skipper that has had his fair share of expulsions from games. Quite a bit. He's watching the games in the showers. Not as much this year, it feels like, despite the really frustrating start. Boiled over today. Bell went out there, looked cool, calm, and collected when he was talking to Blue, and then 2 seconds after entering the dugout, the clip was hysterical. I wanted to show it. I'm all about pirating video. I'm a pirate. Kirby says, no, Chuck, we're making sponsorship money. I said, we're making super chat money. Screw the sponsorship for a night. Let's show the video to the people. It was hysterical. So Bell comes out there. He talks with Blue for about 15 seconds, walks down to the dugout, and just in the back of the shot, you see a chair go flying. As soon as the cameraman, probably Justin Jemison of Bally Sports, shout out, as soon as Justin swiveled over that camera, you see Bell just kicking the thing, throwing it. The fire from David Bell. Do you like seeing that at a time where the team just needs some sort of a jolt? And they're not going to get it offensively, so you may as well have your manager kicking and throwing chairs.
I don't know if it was really as much fire as I honestly felt sympathy towards the guy. I mean, look, this is a team that had high expectations going into this year. Yeah. Whether you hate David Bell, whether you hate Nick Krall, whether you hate ownership, whatever, you have to sit there and admit that they've had a lot of just absolutely brutal luck this season. I mean, it has been one thing after another. Started with the Noelvi Marte suspension. You can't even fathom how many guys have gotten hit on the wrist in just the exact spot. So look, it's frustrating for him. I mean, I think the whole, like, is this guy fiery or not fiery? It's so overblown because we have no idea what David Bell does behind the scenes. We have no idea what he does in that clubhouse. And I don't know. I mean, I think people that really despise David Bell need to stop watching his post-game interviews. That's just who he is. He's meticulous that he's not going to say anything that's going to, upset any of his players or, make them feel like he doesn't have their back. I really feel for David Bell this year. I mean, it's got to be a very difficult situation that he's kind of gotten put in, and almost anything he does, he can't win right now.
I wonder with David Bell, because I think the large consensus is David Bell's not going anywhere. Main reason being, who else is going to come in, replace him, and win with this team right now? What are you going to do? You got to go out there and you got to bring back Dusty Baker. You got to bring him out of retirement and expect this team to figure it out. No, I mean, beginning of the year, we were talking about how much depth this team had, especially in the infield. It was like, how are we going to make this thing work with all these different pieces? Now half the team is, half the order every night are a bunch of minor leaguers. So that shifted pretty quickly. So I would say that's the main reason why David Bell's not going anywhere. However, when I look at the numbers of what he's done, because as of right now, he has a career sub-500 record, 7 seasons in. Look, Jerry Narron didn't get 7 seasons, from my understanding. Dusty Baker, I don't believe. No, he didn't get 7 seasons either. Brian Price didn't get 7 seasons. So aside from him being a Cincinnati guy, a likable guy, like, you know what I'm saying here? And I'm not advocating for David Bell to be fired. I don't think he should be. I'm just saying, like, what would it take for him to be fired? Would it take another season where the team's healthy for them not to be good? Because some people say, like, well, yeah, but a lot of those 7 years he hasn't had much talent. I don't know. He had a Cy Young. He had Nick Castellanos. He had Joey Votto. He had Sonny Gray. He had Luis Castillo. He had all those guys on the same team. Didn't win a playoff game. The next year had an epic collapse down the stretch. Last year collapsed down the stretch. I just think he has a very long leash, and maybe it's because Reds staff knows in that locker room what he means to these guys and how important he is to this franchise. I don't know. All I'm saying is when you compare it to his predecessors, when you compare it to Jerry, and when you compare it to Dusty, and when you compare it to Brian Price, he's had quite the long leash. So I do understand the Reds fans that are upset and want to change in some way, even if it's, we need a new hitting coach, whatever it may be. I understand it in that regard. But at the end of the day, rant over, he's not going anywhere. But what would it take, in your opinion, that quite frankly means nothing, what would it take for him to no longer be the manager of the Reds? I mean, would it take 25 games below 500 this season, or is he not going anywhere this year? He gets a free pass because the roster, quite frankly, is just not that good because of a lot of dumb luck.
I mean, I would be very surprised if he went anywhere this year. I think it would have to be something where ownership decided the heat was too much and they want a scapegoat. I think that's the only way they would fire him. But to kind of counter a little bit, the teams that David Bell has had, coming into 2019, they had a 14% chance of making the playoffs preseason. 2020, they had a 40%. They made the playoffs. 2021, they had a 22% chance of making the playoffs. Last year, they had a 1.7% chance of making the playoffs, projected to win 70 games, ended up winning 82. And then this season coming in, they had a 23% chance of making the playoffs. And that was with a much different roster than we're seeing right now. So
yeah, and I guess the point I was going with was it was more so the not as much Dusty. It was more so the Brian Price, Jerry Narron argument, because Jerry Narron didn't have any talent, man. Come on, we know that. Right as Jerry left, that's when the talent started rolling in for Dusty. But they got rid of Jerry. Brian Price didn't have any talent. They got rid of Brian eventually. At a certain point, it's like, you own a restaurant for 7 years, and no one's coming to the restaurant, and you wonder what's wrong. Is the food bad? Do we fire the chef? What do we do? You got to do something. You can't make the excuse of, well, we just don't have the funds and we don't have the payroll and we don't have, quite frankly, the delivery drivers that want to bring over the food to cook the cuisine. That was the worst analogy of all time, Kirby. And to everyone in the chat room, I apologize. The bubbly's kicking in. But with that being said, I mean, you're right. Like, at some point, there has to be a scapegoat. It may not be this year, but I'm frustrated. I said I was going to be all positive today, and I've gone on a 15-minute rant about David Bell. It has nothing to do with David Bell. It's just a matter of, like, how do we fix this thing? And how do we fix it quickly? Because I'm running out of patience.
Yeah, I mean, I get running out of patience. I mean, you fix it with some better health, I mean, overall.
But does better health fix it? Does better health fix it? Because we have Marte
I would say
getting ready for a rehab assignment. We have Encarnacion Strand, who, was batting, $190, 210, whatever it was, before he was out for the season. I think McClain is the best player on this team. So he's killing the Reds offense right now, not being out there. And Friedl's a great leadoff hitter, too. But, I mean, were we too high on this team heading into the season? In an offseason where they, got Brent Suter and they got Pagan and they got Candelario and they got Martinez. They spent overall a decent chunk of money. But when you look back on all those signings, should it have got us this excited for this season, especially with how the Reds played last year, minus, 12 games?
I think you still should have been pretty excited. I mean, the rotation has panned out better than you could have expected. I mean, it's just, again, I don't think there's many teams across baseball, especially, small market teams, that are going to survive the kind of injuries that the Reds have had this year. And the Reds aren't out of it. Look, the team that holds the final wild card spot is the San Diego Padres, who the Reds just beat, who are now below 500. Reds are 3.5 games back, so this season's far from over. Now, It would take a pretty miraculous turnaround. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, but I don't know. I've also kind of reached the point where I almost just hope they fire David Bell, so then everyone that wants to pile on David Bell will just move to Freddie Benavidez or whoever else they do. You're going to hate this next manager just as much as you hate David Bell right now. It's just going to be a continuous cycle. I feel like it's very short-sighted to put this season especially on David Bell. And I think if there's ever a season to give a manager a pass, especially after how much the Reds overachieved last season, to be this year for David Bell.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just by All-Star break, let's be within like 5 games. I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking to be above 500, just 5 games. We can't have the season over by Memorial Day. And it's probably not going to be over by Memorial Day after they win tonight. And it sounds like, based on the chat's response, I'm not leaving until we lose. So we'll do the show again tomorrow together, Kirby. Sorry about it, Trace. And moving forward, we're going to win a lot of games while I'm on this set. We're going to win a lot of games, baby. Knock on the wood. But for you, these upcoming, 6-7 games where Reds have 2 more with the Padres, 3 with the Dodgers. Let's go with this next 5-game stretch right here. What to you is a success? Just take both series, get some momentum heading into St. Louis, who's not good whatsoever, and get yourself out of the cellar by June?
Yeah, I mean, I would say
let's get out of the cellar. One step at a time, baby steps.
Yeah, I would say that would be a success. I mean, the games against the Padres, I feel like, are going to be more important against the Dodgers. Honestly, if I could win the next 2 and then get swept by the Dodgers, I would take that, because the Padres are very likely going to be a team that is going to be in the mix for a wild card spot. And the Reds' most realistic path is the wild card, because unless the Brewers and Cubs come crashing down and one of those teams plays bad, it's going to be really hard for the Reds to catch them. Now, the Reds can absolutely sneak into the 3rd wild card spot. As I mentioned, the team that holds it is below 500. So you sweep the San Diego Padres, you would be, if my math is right, a game and a half behind them. So that would be a pretty big deal. So, the schedule it does lighten up quite a bit. Reds have played, I think, the most difficult schedule in baseball to this point. And it's unfortunate they're 1-11 in 1-run games. I mean, this is a team that has only a -5 run differential right now. This team isn't a team that's getting, crushed every night. This is a team that has been competitive. It's really all because of the starting pitching is why they've been competitive. So you hope that, the starting pitching that has carried you to this point can keep it up. And the offense, when you start facing some weaker teams overall, you can, kind of get it going a little bit and make something out of the season. But Noelvi Marte is getting closer and closer. I think Noelvi Marte is like a week and a half, 2 weeks away from being able to start not a rehab assignment, whatever you call it. He's eligible to go, I think, 15 days before he's eligible to return. He can go play in Louisville. So
Friedl hitting off a tee.
Yeah, Friedel's supposed to be back soon. I mean, that's 2 pretty big players. So you add those 2 players. You also add in the fact they're going to play some weaker competition. All of a sudden, the pendulum can start swinging back a little bit.
Yeah, it'll swing in July if the Reds can just tread water, keep their head above the sea until mid-July, because they got the 3 with the Tigers, 4 with the Rockies, 3 with the Marlins, 3 with the Nationals. So they'll have 13 games that are extremely winnable coming up, but that's in July. June's a gauntlet. They're going to have a lot of the Cubs. I think 7 games with the Cubs in the month of June. They're going to have Cleveland, who's 32-17. They'll have a road trip to not Miller Park anymore. What do we call it? American Financial Field? What American Heritage Bank? What field is it nowadays? I'm going to call it Miller Park for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
We'll just call it Miller Park. They got 3 at Miller Park. Yep. We'll ride down that slide. And then they also have the Red Sox in the month of June. And then, Pirates, Cardinals. So some winnable games against divisional teams. But that's what it's got to be right now. To all the Reds fans out there that say, where's the light, at the end of the tunnel? The light at the end of the tunnel is if they can just survive and get some of these players back, we could have some positive momentum, a little Big Mo heading into the All-Star break. But one step at a time, Reds get it done 2-0 today. We have anything else on the rundown, Kirby, or are we going to finish with a little Stump the Kirby? I have nothing for you, actually, Stump the Kirby, so...
Well, let's do an ad read, then we could do Stump the Kirby, then I had a couple stuff on the back end. So let's talk about the Game Time app. Give me just a second here. A little tougher. when I got to multitask here, baby. All right, the Game Time app is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seat, and the lowest price guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. They have all-in pricing. You can toggle this feature to show you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CINCY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CINCY, CINCY, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And also, you can call or text 988 anytime at all, day or night. The 998 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is a place to get support for anything related to mental health. Whether an immediate crisis, simply wanting to find out how to connect with care, or anything in between, it's a 100% confidential, secure, and anonymous way to reach out for help when you don't know where else to turn. To connect, call or text 988 or visit mantherapy.org to get help. It's okay not to be okay.
Reds were 0-7 in one-run games in the month of May. I don't know if that makes me excited, Kirby. The fact that they're so close, or if it just frankly makes me pissed off. But it, at the very least, makes me intrigued. I think that's the word that I'm going with. I don't think this team's as bad as their record has them. I don't think they're as good as the expectations we had for them before the season. I think they're somewhere right in the middle, but the team's getting a little healthier slowly but surely. Pitching has looked good. And at the very least, Kirby, you're a positive guy. You always try to take the silver lining out of everything. The silver lining tonight, with the offense sucking once more, is that Andrew Abbott's here to stay, man. Like I said to start the show, he's trending towards being an all-star. That's now back-to-back performances of 7 innings, no runs in this one today, 2 straight quality starts, and again, 9 of his 10 starts this season under 2 runs. So the Reds have themselves maybe an ace. I know Hunter Green has the stuff. Hunter Green has the potential. But at the end of the day, when it comes to who's proved it out there, it's Andrew Abbott, his 2.68 ERA, as he picks up the Reds for Cincinnati, as he picks up the win for the Cincinnati Reds. Alexis Diaz slams the door with a game-ending double play. Final thought from you, Kirby, before we close the curtains, call it a night, and shout out the chat room one final time.
Yeah, I mean, Ellie De La Cruz, just good to see him bounce back after, really tough game on Sunday. 4 strikeouts against the Dodgers, had several big spots late in that game where wasn't able to come through. Nice to see him come through with 2 hits. Got a little bit of a break on one that Cronenworth couldn't field. I mean, he hit the ball well, but that was good to see. Other note today was Nick Martini was recalled. I know that everyone in Reds fandom is up in arms about Martini coming back. I like giving him another shot. I mean, he was really, really bad for a month, but this is a guy that played really well all of last year for Triple-A. Had I think 921 OPS with the Reds in the same amount of sample last year as he had this year. Again, really bad for that month, but he went down to Louisville. He played as good as you can play over 8 games. I think he's worth a shot to, especially with the way Mark Ford's playing right now. I think he's worth a shot to give him some at-bats, give him some spots at DH. And if Fraley's out, I mean, I think he's a guy that at least gives you the potential to hit the ball to the ballpark, which the Reds just feels like it's almost – if it's either Ellie De La Cruz hits a home run or that's about it. I mean, it's almost takes a miracle to hit a home run, and it's really hard to sustain any kind of good offense if you don't hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And one of our friends just popped in the chat and said, "What are you talking about, June being a gauntlet? Nothing compared to May." Yeah, that's because I didn't look at the final 7 games when they take on the Pirates and Cardinals. I was just looking at the beginning half when they have 3 against the Brewers, couple against the Guardians, 4 against the Cubs, make that 6 against the Cubs. So, yeah, the month of June, some winnable games in there as well. Just start beating the teams you're supposed to beat, taking 2 or 3 from the likes against the Padres and teams that are, below 500 or hovering around 500. And maybe they get this season on track. Like I said, Kirby, it's the law of averages. They're not as bad as they've been. They're not as good as we thought they'd be this season. They're somewhere right in the middle, man. So let's get it done. One game at a time. Reds improved to 20-28. That's about the most positive I've talked about the Cincinnati Reds in 3 weeks. It's been a minute, man.
Good to have you back. It's good to have you back, and it's just it's so nice to have you on for a win.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Glad I got to pop the bubbly. Chat room, thank you. Hopefully see you soon. Trace, sorry about that 17-3 Tebow loss. They were run ruled in 4 innings. That's why he's not here today. But when you're a father, you're there for your kids, even when his team sucks. Have a great night, everyone. And go Reds.
Chuck, can we run through